Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of Intuitive Angling, and much appreciated you guys swinging by the channel to spend some time with me today. And I know you guys hear me say that every day, but man, I really do appreciate it because I know that we're all busy with life and everybody doesn't have 5 or 10 minutes here to watch videos. So I really appreciate you guys checking Intuitive Angling out here. Guys, today I want to talk about the unbelievable pressure that comes with fishing on the tour level as a professional angler. And I want to do this for two different reasons. First of all, maybe sort of educate the public a little bit about it, because I think there's a lot of misconceptions. And secondly, to address any aspiring tournament anglers out there that may want to do this at some point, because I can speak to that very well, because I've done it since the mid 1980s, been there, done that, and got some good advice I want to pass along to you guys. Also, guys, a quick reminder about the end of summer sale. SolarBat has on my SolarBat RB2 and RB3 series sunglasses. These are the RB3 models here. Throughout the whole month of September, if you order a pair of them, you can get them 20% off, as well as most anything else on the SolarBat website. So I'll put that link in the description there, and I appreciate you guys checking that out very much. Okay, guys, I don't think a lot of people understand how truly debilitating the pressure can be at being a professional angler once you've made that commitment to it. Now, most of this pressure, there's two different areas that the pressure lies on. Number one is the financial pressure of it, and number two is the strain that it has on personal relationships. And I can tell you right now, guys, unless you are single or you're financially independent, you're going to experience one or two of those, probably to a pretty massive extent, if you really make a commitment to do this for a long time. Ideally, here's the only people that need to be fishing professionally, is if you're a trust fund baby and you're independently wealthy and you're single, you don't have a girlfriend, you don't have a wife, you don't have any kids, you got plenty of money, and you love it more than anything else, then that's the perfect scenario for somebody being a pro angler. But if you're not independently wealthy and you do have a girlfriend, or you do have a wife, or you do have kids, not so much. And that's really what I want to speak to today, excuse me, in the video. First of all, let's talk a little bit about the financial part of it. Then we're going to talk a little bit about the personal relationship part of it. Here is what I'm talking about when I speak about the unbelievable pressure that you have. Now, let's say, for example, you've lived your dream and you've squeaked in, you've qualified for the Bassmaster Elite Series. So right off the bat, you're going to have to cough up, $50,000 for entry fees. And then you're going to have another probably $50,000 at your disposal for your expenses. Maybe more, because, if you have to have a boat payment and a truck payment and purchase your own tackle, it could be more. It could be $70,000. So, but let's just be conservative and say you're going to have to come up with $100,000 of liquid assets in order to fish 1 year, not including what it costs for you to live. I mean, if you have 2 kids and a family, you've got a mortgage, you've got insurance, you've got a family that you've got to feed, you've got, all the bills that are associated with having a family. So you're going to have another minimum of $200,000. So right off the bat, if you have a family of 4, you're going to have access to $200,000 just to fish for 1 year in order to fish and pay your bills. That's the reality of the situation. And then what happens throughout the course of the year, let's say that you put that together, say you figured out a way to do it, and you're not independently wealthy, but you've been creative, you figured out some way to do that, and let's say that you go for the first 2 or 3 tournaments and you don't make a check. So right off the bat, with the expenses and the entry fees, you're $30,000 in the hole. So in order for you just to get back to even on your tournament end of it, you're going to have to basically finish in the top 2 or 3 in the tournament. You're going to have to finish first, second, or third in the tournament just to get back to even, not including having any money to pay your bills at home. So this pressure is constantly on you, because I don't care how good you are, you're going to run into a dry spell eventually. And if you don't have the cushion financially to withstand that dry spell, you're going to be in serious trouble. So let's say you go through the season, guys, and let's say you have a decent season or a good season, and you make the Bassmaster Classic, which is not that difficult because they basically take almost half the field of the Classic. They never didn't do that back when I fished it, but now it's the easiest it's ever been to make the Classic. Let's say you qualify for the Classic and you've made the money in 75% of the tournaments, a $10,000 check. So at that point, you still are in the hole. If you've only made a $10,000 check in 75% of the tournaments, you're only making between, the entry fee and the expenses. In reality, you're only making about $2,000 per tournament. So you're still in the hole. So you've qualified for the Classic. You're still financially in the hole. And then come around September and October, you got to come up with your deposits for the next year. And then you got to, maybe your boat has got to get turned in. So the point is you constantly have this unbelievable drain on your finances that put this pressure on it that most people can't understand. Because when you're out there fishing, that's what you're thinking about. You're thinking, it's like, God, I didn't make the money in the last 3 tournaments. And if I don't win or get first or second or third in this tournament, I'm going to be in the hole. And that continually puts pressure on you. And then add upon it, let's say, for example, you're doing that, and then you got your families. Like, you're missing your kids' football games, you're missing your kids' baseball games, your kids are 10 or 12 years old, and you're away from home 175 days a year, you're missing your kids growing up. Your wife's getting resentful because she's having to raise the kids by herself, and you're out traveling all over the country. So you've got this tension that is boiling, just from the family end of it, along with the finances. Now, this scenario that I laid out, obviously it doesn't fit every single situation out there, but by far it fits more situations than not. So the point is when you're dealing with this financial pressure and this pressure that you have on your family, and you don't get to see your friends, you don't get to see your mom and dad or your everything around you. You're living your life away from the people you love half of the year. And at the same time, you're putting this tremendous mental stress on you about the tournaments. Now, what happens is occasionally, you find an acorn and you do good in the tournaments. You may make the Sunday, finals. You may even win a tournament. You may qualify for the Classic. And that is like a fix. It's like a drug addict fix, is when you qualify for the Classic, or you do good in a tournament, or you win a tournament. In many ways, that is like the worst thing that can possibly happen to people, because that adrenaline rush and that endorphin rush that comes from that success is no different than gambling. It's no different than if you hit a jackpot on a slot machine. It's the same endorphin rush. And that's powerful, and that's what people keep doing it, even in light of all the negatives that I just weighed out above you, to you right there. So if it sounds like that I'm discouraging you guys from fishing professionally, yeah, I am. I've been there. I've done that. I did it full time for a living from 1986 to about 2016. I did it full time. That's all I did. That was my sole source of income. I traveled the country everywhere. There was a 10-year period. I fished 2 circuits at the same time. I know what it's like. So I just wanted to put the reality of the situation out there and take away the fantasy world that comes with that. So from that standpoint, I think that professional fishing is one of the most, well, it's not one, it's one of the most, it's the most difficult career path you're ever going to choose on every different level. I highly discourage people from going into it unless you get back to the same thing that I said before. You're financially well off, you don't have a family, you don't have a girlfriend, you don't have any personal responsibilities, you don't have to take care of your mom and dad, and you're ate up with fishing. Those are the people that really are the ones that need to be fishing professionally, because what happens is everybody else suffers. It's like, I've seen this over and over again, guys, where you got these people out there that have been successful in tournament fishing, and their families suffer as a result of it. You're out living your dream, and your families are having to deal with you living your dream and all the negatives that come from you not being there. That is the reality of the situation. this sport is not for everybody. I would never want my son Elijah to be a professional angler. And if I had it to do over again, guys, I've had a great career. I've had some incredible experiences. I've traveled the world. I've been to Japan 4 or 5 times. I've qualified for 18 Bassmaster Classics and Forest Wood Cups. I've won Bassmaster tournaments. I've been there. I've done that. I've almost won the Bassmaster Classic. It's powerful, but in retrospect, looking back at what I missed out on, I have basically have, I've lost my life savings 2 or 3 times throughout the course of a 30-year period. I spent, my mom and dad passed away 3 or 4 years ago. I was away from them for half my life. Looking back in retrospect, I wouldn't have done it again. I can say that honestly because I've had time to reflect upon it. Now, one of the things that I do love is over the past couple of years, I have restructured my tournament fishing along with my YouTube stuff where I fish locally here. I fish 2 different circuits, the Toyota Series and the BFLs. And every tournament that I fish, guys, I can sleep in my own bed at night. I can see my family every single night. If you love tournament fishing, that's the best way to do it. It's stay local, stay at home, be with your family, be with what's important there. But I'm just telling you guys from my point of view, from my perspective, from somebody that's done it and somebody that has legitimately made a living out of it for over 30 years. I don't recommend it for anybody unless, like I said, you're wealthy and you're single and you don't have any responsibility. So I just wanted to lay that hard truth out there, guys. I don't mean to pop anyone's bubble, but if you listen to what I just said there, I can promise you I'm going to save you guys a lot of heartache and a lot of money over the course of your life. So you can, do what you want to with that information. I just wanted to share that with you guys. So hope you're well. We'll talk later.